Skiers beware. Sometimes the snowbank is deeper than it appears. Posted to Instagram by Chris J. Fish. This GoPro video shows viewers what it's like to avalanche yourself. The skier is seen traveling over a snowy hill between two trees followed by some rocky crags. After overtaking the rocks, he immediately drops feet down into the snow. He is seen frantically trying to dig himself out. After what seems like an eternity, he spots a glimmer of sky above, as someone on the surface is also digging frantically to pull him to safety. Chris says this is the first time he's been completely buried. He writes in the comments, "I started to panic a bit as soon as I inhaled a whole bunch of snow. My entire throat and mouth were full and definitely had a bit in my lungs." He goes on to explain that his friend was staged nearby to rescue him if this happened, which anyone who's skiing across unknown territory should do. Did this scary event stop him from future skiing? Nope. He writes that as soon as his breathing returned, he was off again. Chris asked if we would include this PSA. He writes, "The rule to dropping from big cliffs into bottomless powder. Have someone close by to dig you out if you get buried." I'm thinking I'll stick to the bunny hill. These campers aren't going to get any more sleep tonight. Posted to TikTok by Eagle Trindade. One camper opens their tent flap to reveal 4 enormous crocodiles waiting just outside their door. And that's not even the scariest part. At least a dozen pairs of eyes are gleaming in the darkness. The man closes the tent flap as if that weak nylon and polyester is going to save him from this army of chompers. While some in the comments are saying this is more terrifying than a horror movie, others are just wondering how these guys made it out of their tent. Are these crocodiles just trying to get warm? Or are they out for a midnight snack?
Ai meu Deus do céu! Vocês estão entendendo o quanto de jacaré tem aqui? Ai meu Deus. Eu tô na barraca literalmente pra acampar. Vamos dormir aqui, guys?
A young woman was walking home late at night when she was met with a worst case scenario. Someone was following her. Posted to TikTok by Carolina Judah. The TikToker captures a montage of her journey from the foggy streets to the bus to a dark walk on her road home. A man is seen standing behind the bus stop. He is nothing but a shadow. She says she ignored him and just continued walking. Capturing a shot between her though, she finds that he's trailing her about 20 feet away. As the journey continues, he seems to be speeding up, and in fact he gets closer. He appears to be wearing a hood. Carolina says he began shouting something at her, and she thought he'd been drinking. He falls behind a ways, and as soon as she rounds a bend, she sprints home. Although she couldn't see him anywhere when she arrived, 20 minutes later she heard the doorbell at the gate. She called her mom, but there was no answer. And outside her window, she spotted the man standing just outside the gate. The man later jumped to the gate, crossed the garden, and tried yanking on the door handle. Carolina locked herself inside the bathroom waiting for her parents to arrive. He eventually stopped, but she stayed put, too afraid to move. In the video's comments, TikTokers suggest not to walk home when you're being followed, but rather lead the stalker to someplace with people and/or bright lights. This route looked like it had neither, so what should she do in this case? Any suggestions? What is lurking in the mountains of Montana? Published by Smokey Robinson in September of 2021. He and his army buddy were outside Browning, Montana when they encountered this piece of work. What begins as a man starts to appear demonic. At the start of the clip, the figure is roaring unintelligibly.
Buddy! How you doing? Oh! Just some cruisers, man!
He appears to be shirtless and wearing jeans. The figure then starts crawling half deranged on the ground toward them.
That's crazy.
It crawls up a hill. The closer it gets, the more inhuman it looks. Just as the demon man reaches the road, the two men drive off in their pickup. Commenters are saying this is 100% demonic, and this creature gives them goosebumps. Some say the figure's face distorted and its appendages stretched as it started to crawl. Drex Ferguson writes, "This is the video I send people when they ask me to go camping, hiking, basically anything that involves woods. Some are calling it a zombie. Some are saying it's a human being taken over by something. What do you think it is?"
He's crawling at me like What's up, dude?
This video is the launching point of one wild ride. Posted to the Ring subreddit, Midship92 explains that his neighbor messaged asking him to check on his wife who was home alone because someone was trying to get inside. After going to check and finding no one, this friendly neighbor went back home, only to find this Ring video footage had been sent to him. The clip shows what the man just missed, a shirtless creep crawling up the front steps of the home, hiding his face away before trying the door in an attempt to break in. The man then lets himself down the steps and walks off. The Redditor adds in the comments, "After doing this to several houses and evading police, he was finally caught. Finding the man was quite an ordeal." The Redditor elaborates further, explaining that during the police search, the suspect kept disappearing only to be seen again minutes later, after trying to catch the guy for nearly an hour, only for him to vanish into thin air. The police abandoned the search. Left to his own devices, the man again tried to get in through another neighbor's back door, but the Redditor saw him from his deck. He chased the man into another neighbor's crawl space and stood guard there until the police returned. Thankfully, the wild goose chase led to the wild goose being caught, filmed near Shady Lake at Arkansas's Washita National Forest. This family was camping in a secluded campground when they encountered a creature that some think is a myth. Published by Jim Harrison in September of 2012, the camera is panning across the darkness when a large hairy figure moves into view not far off. Needless to say, the cameraman turns tail to flee, and I'm guessing he made it out alive, with this wicked footage to show for it. While you may not be a believer, many in the comments of this video are. A number of them even share their own encounters with Sasquatch. Inside a creepy cupboard full of antique dolls and antiquated photographs lies a poltergeist. Don't let him out. Published by The Haunted One. The uploader shows us that the cupboard sticks and is difficult to open. The cupboard houses a skull, some baby shoes, an eyeless porcelain doll, and a number of black and white photographs. Footage of the room in the darkness shows the cabinet bursting open on its own. Or did one of these haunted dolls try to get out? They're obviously here to possess you.
That's pretty strong because it's not that easy to open. And what's in here are some old photos that I've acquired.
Do you have the cojones to dance with the devil? Published by Devil's Hours Production in May of 2021, this scary video sees one paranormal investigator playing around with Beelzebub. Originally filmed in March of 2013, the crew gets a spike on the millimeter after one of them asks the spirits to make their presence known.
Can you make your presence known?
Just so you know, Matt, we're getting a 0.1 spike on the millimeter right now.
As they continue onward, the meter rises and rises and rises some more. When they specifically ask the spirit to raise the meter, it does.
0.1, 1.2, 1.3.
Is that you? Speak into this device right here. I heard another voice. Is that you? Speak into this device right here. I heard another voice. Oh, that could have been car. Hold on.
They continue walking when they suddenly hear a girl giggling. The girl remains with them, and she makes her presence known.
It's caught on here.
7.6.
I just heard a little girl.
5.6.
You go up to that antenna right now and you touch it, it will go off, and that's how we can know that it's you.
The pair capture the creepy image on camera. It looks very much like a small girl, and later they hear a demonic hissing noise. Is this the soul of a little girl? Or is it the devil pretending? Catholics honor the departed on November 2nd with All Souls Day, praying for the souls of their departed family and friends, often with visits to the graveyard. But what happens when the soul hasn't crossed over? Published by Own Vlogs, these paranormal investigators visited a haunted graveyard in order to answer that question. As the crew wanders around the cemetery's open graves, they suddenly see this vague pale figure in the distance. After glancing over several times at the figure, the men get too scared by its stillness and start running off.
कुछ चीज है तो वो हावी होने की कोशिश कर रही है और ये क्या खड़े हो जाओ निकलो यहाँ से स्पीड से थोड़ा सा ये क्या
Gathering some courage, they turn and look back. The figure is still there. They run off again and straight out of the cemetery. Was this a soul that hadn't yet crossed over? Or just a graveyard statue? In any event, this is one scary video that went horribly wrong.
रास्ते में खड़ी है जो भी है रास्ते में है अरे भाई इधर से निकल भाई
Think you have creepy neighbors? Think again. Posted to the WTF subreddit, Protomancer writes, just someone slithering through my neighbor's yard in the middle of the night. That description about sums this clip up, but let's take a look at the Nest camera footage. A stranger is seen lying on its stomach on the ground outside this person's home. After a moment, he starts moving in what is well described as a slither. He could actually be crawling, with the camera distorting the movements into something even creepier. Not that army crawling across your neighbor's yard is normal at all. Well, some Redditors think the dude is just playing night crawlers. Others think the guy is on something. One Redditor, however, shares another possible theory from first-hand experience. Chordophonic writes, quite a few years ago I had something similar happen, though I was several lawns away. The dude finally stopped on my lawn and we called 911 because he'd been caught with some other dude's wife, and it turns out her husband put a round in this guy. I kind of hope it's one of the first two scenarios here. Thank you so much for getting me to 10,000 subscribers here on my Clips channel. If you want to support, please press that subscribe button. Let's get to 20,000 subscribers next. Thank you.